So this is a couple days after I recorded the in-depth guide for all these 32 URs. You know, life, work, and all that. It drains a lot out of me. So I was going to press the button, I believe. I think my top 5 were Shinanju, Jonah, Low, Former, Fundamental, and Narrative. And what else was it? Salzabi and X tier. I think those were my top 5 picks for new or returning players, I believe. I said it's been a couple days, but you really do want to. You're gonna be here for a while, I believe, because you really want some good SSRs. Like those are meh, but you really want to maximize your multi. Try to see which units you can get. We don't need freedom. Freedom's alright, but I don't really need a dupe of that. I'm probably gonna finish this off camera, just because I really do want, you know, the best I can get, which would be like Shinanju. I'm aiming for a Shinanju with a pretty good multi, so there won't be much to it. I'm not gonna keep you here and, you know, make people watch me re-roll dozens of times. So yeah, that was basically the video. I just wanted to show how it would be like, just because it looked weird, the video, without finishing actually summoning. So yeah, if you don't want to watch the full video, just, you know, skip to the end if you already did. So yeah, that's about it, and take care. Welcome back, everybody. I'm a little bit late to this, but it is time to do the first anniversary Re-Pullable 1 UR unit guaranteed multi. And the smartest thing to do is to wait until you get these tickets on April 1st, and then get your URs, and then do your guaranteed UR. But obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm not smart, so we're going to talk about which unit you should get. If you are waiting, that's also fine, but if you're going to roll right now or already have and all that, we'll see which unit, in my own opinion, you should get for newbies or if you just don't have the suit. So we shall talk about it right now. So my recommendations are going to be based off what I have or what I might need in the future. Keep in mind, you know, everybody's account is always different from each other. They might need that unit, they might need this unit, you know. But this Re-Pullable UR only has non-limited units, no limited units as far as I know. So every unit here you can get normally, but for me, I'm going to look at this as in the moment, in the present, or in the future. Like right now on April 1st, we're about to get 00 and Endless World support. Or right now, we have our PvP season. So I am going to base it off that, prioritize that. So the units I pick, you might already have them. They might not seem that great to you, but right now I am prioritizing them based off future content or right now. So with that out of the way, I think Ariel's pretty good. Her ability to let us to has that one skill when pilot units with specified tags can execute support defense when an enemy responds to an ally's attack with a counter during a fight. That's pretty good for PvP. But for PvE, I guess it can still be useful. Just keep in mind she only has one chance step, support, defend, so she does not have double defend. Keep that in mind when you use her. But she's a pretty good pilot. That's her one gimmick though. Pretty decent unit though if you need a good PvP defender pilot if the Ariel is featured in that season. I remember this thing was doing some pretty good work. I think it was season 8, season 9, I don't remember. I don't remember precisely which one it was, but she was doing some pretty good work. Shenanju, I think a lot of people might pick this just because it's a pretty good debuffer. The rocket bazooka has 5 range, physical weapons, and the bead Nagitana is beam weapons up 5%. I mean 35%. So you have 2 debuff options if you must choose. Stats are alright. The vigor is really good. When vigor is supercharged or higher, the max range of physical or beam weapons is increased by 1. So that means your EX is probably going to have range 5. And your rocket bazooka is going to have range 6, which is extremely good. Also, the pilot has MP up right off the get-go, so you're basically guaranteed to get that. Plus, if you use boost range level 1, that's like 7 range. That's extraordinarily good. I think a lot of people are going to pick this guy just because of his range game. It's extraordinarily good. His stats are also really solid too, so for any new player or just any player who hasn't picked Shenanju, he's probably number 1 in my recommendation. He is really good. Also narrative, I assume you can use unicorn units there too, since you know it's Gundam unicorn narrative. So just like Char's counterattack, some units I think like Penelope or She Gundam technically count, so I don't see why narrative wouldn't count too. So once that comes out and we get its Eternal Road, I think this guy's going to be extraordinarily good. So he's probably my number 1 pick if you wanted like a top recommendation. Blue Destiny, it's alright. Alright attacker. Its whole thing is damage, but its range game is pretty mid. Only free, so keep that in mind if you really wanted him. He's a really good attacker. He'll do really good damage, but Chance Step will trigger 1 time at the end of combat regardless of whoever or not an enemy has been defeated. So he might not have 2 Chance Steps, but even if he doesn't defeat the enemy, he can still get another turn and wallop them. So that could be pretty useful, pretty situational, but it could be pretty useful. But yeah, he's a attacker, high attack, but low range. Just his range hurts him a lot, but terrain's also pretty mid, so keep in mind tags and all that. The only like good tag, like top tier tag, is one-shot killer, so, and test type is just kind of meh. So he's a meh, sure, he's alright, but if you want him, you can go ahead and do that. Also forgot to mention the Shenanju's terrain, also not the greatest, still good though. Space and Earth are the most used, so. He also has Rival and One-Shot Killer too, along with Commander Tie, which they gave out for free for the halfway thing, so that's also some pretty good tags you can run him on. The Nuozai, however you pronounce it. Terrain is pretty mid, but that's to be expected. It's a mobile armor. Good range, good map attack. Problem is he is a mobile armor, so keep that in mind. PvE he'll be good, PvP not so much. Eye field is good. When enemies are in specified tags, increase all attack and defense by 15% for her Federation. That's not bad. He's just going to be doing good damage. He has good abilities, but he is very focused on Earth Federation units. If you're not fighting Earth Federation units, you're not going to get the full buff. So here's Gato, the attacker version. High speed is good, range boost is good, sway is good. He has a very good kit. He has mostly damage buffs, and when piloting the Wheels of Eye, increase attack by 3% up to 15% for each above unit, which is Zeon. Zeon is not the most craziest tag, so to get his full buffs again, you need to have a full Zeon team, or at least up to 5, so they're both pretty restricted, but they will do good damage if you set up everything for them. But I think there's just better options like Shenanju, not for damage but for team support and all that. Gundam F91, he's alright, nothing crazy. Increased defense by 50%. When vigor is max or higher, increased defense and mobility by 10%. That's not bad, but his pilot is pretty mid. He's alright. Terrain is good, of course. I think his pilot that I can't see because I already have him. We'll go to characters real quick. Get out that. Where is he at? There he is. He has MP up, which means you're already going to get the boost. But if you do that, then you might not be able to do your HP. If you keep increasing it, that cost is 6. I think you need it up to 12. Might be wrong, but then you can't use your HP repair, which, you know, you basically have to choose which one you want, the defense boost or the HP buff. And even then, he's not the craziest, but he only has one chance there. For a defender, you want to. I think with an attacker, you can like let it pass, but with a defender, 2 is just always better. So when piloting units specified to increase MP by 6%, reduce damage taken by 15%. So exclude everything I just said about that MP thing. He's already going to have it right off the bat. And you can heal 50%, which is not bad. But like I said, for a defender, you really want 2 chance steps. His defense is really high though. But like I said, he can only defend 1 time, which might be a problem. But still pretty solid. But just keep in mind, he only has 1 defense chance step. Next up is Gundam Astrov, however you say that, Rena Scrimento, whatever. Decent supporter, he's really good if you have the UR Barbie Loopy Rex, Bartos Lupus Rex, he's going to help him a lot. But by himself, his attack stat is actually pretty high for a supporter. Problem is, you really want to run him with Barbie Loopy UR. They're best friends with each other. If you don't have them next to each other, then it's kind of meh. He can do good damage by himself, especially if you have dupes, but by himself, I just don't really see the need. He's good, but just remember his range is alright. Pilot should be down here. There he is. He is a supporter. He has MP up and boost critical, which is alright. He does have high speed, which is always good. MP, you know, like I said, he really prioritizes his attack. Critical rate 20%. If you activate the skill, it's a 60%, and then increase attack by 20%. When piloting units, if vigor supercharged or higher, he gets an extra support attack, but that's only if his MP is up. So keep that in mind if you make a mistake. So there is a restriction on that. Piloting units specified attack, increase damage taken to the enemy by 15%. When executing support attack, counter increase attack by 10%. So this guy's gimmick is doing a lot of damage, and he can, especially in the right circumstances. Definitely dupe dependent though, his suit. So the more dupes you have, I think the Gundam Astra will be very good, along with Barbie Loopy Rex UR or just the SSR. They will do pretty good damage together, but I do think he is pretty dupe dependent based off his skills and all that. So as a Gundam Astra, pretty solid choice. Just keep in mind he does seem pretty dupe dependent and needs his buddies to be run with him. Zeong has good range. 2-5 range is always nice. Attack buff, max HP by 5% is pretty mid. When HP is 25% or below, that's kind of mid as well. I hate restrictions like that, so not the best, that's for sure. Attack is pretty solid though, and like I said, this thing's main gimmick is its range, but unfortunately its terrains are pretty mid, and it's not even a mobile armor, so keep that in mind. His pilot is Char Aznavour, of course. He's actually really good. I think he outshines his MS. Awakened by 20%, high speed, sway, very good for funnel suits. Increased damage by 15%, and then another awakened buff, which is always good. And then his main gimmick, if HP falls to 0% when piloting Zeong, restores own HP by 5%. That's why he has the 25% gimmick, which I guess could be clutch, but I feel like it's not really worth it, since if this guy doesn't die, then he won't get his buff. So you deliberately need to get this guy killed to get his full damage buffs, which could be good or bad depending how you look at it. Also, that skill is just, restricted to Zeong, so if you're piloting anything other than the Zeong for whatever reason, you won't get it that buff, so that's an option, I suppose. Very good awakening unit though. If you're using anything with funnels like Penelope or New Gundam, he can be very solid. Like, look at his awakening stats, that's insanely high. He's going to be a good damage dealer for bosses, but just keep in mind only one chance step, so if you don't finish them off, then kind of out of luck. Or if you do finish them off, you need one more chance step, but yeah, very good, very hard hitting unit. But I think his restrictions kind of hold him back a little bit. He's probably better for other suits than his own suit. Full armor, double Zeta. He's alright. He can tank pretty well. Increase defense by 10% up to 50% each time you take damage from an enemy. So this guy really wants to tank. He'll be pretty good with more dupes. I can see that being extraordinarily good, but without a dupe. No dupes, it's kind of meh. Good range, decent range. 1 to 4 EX attack is always nice, and can reduce beam weapon damage by 35%. Solid. His ability seems useful if he's like fully duped, but without fully duped, his defense is just kind of meh. So maybe that could be good if you have him more dupes, but without full dupes, then it's just kind of eh. So his pilot, judo. I had to pause there. So high speed, save energy is always nice, but only 20% is alright. Store energy by store HP by 50% is good. He's a solid defender, but he also suffers from what the other defender I was talking about, I already forgot. Awaken reaction by 20% is alright, but executing support defense, increase defense by 20%, which is good when piloting units. Doesn't say if it stacks or not, so I don't think it stacks. But when piloting units, specify tab, reduce damage taken by 15%. When piloting full armor double Zeta, if HP falls below 50, restore HP by 50%. So this is what I'm saying. He might need more dupes, because if he gets like one-shotted or something, he needs to get attacked continuously. Just remember, he only has one support chance. So if he had double, he would be extraordinarily good. He could keep racking up his defense, but it only works once, so you can only get the 10% buff that the double Zeta gets each turn, and then another turn, and another turn, and another turn. You have to wait 5 turns to get its full buff, defense buff, so not the greatest. But like I said, with dupes, I can definitely see people use them, but just remember, you really want your defenders to have double support defense, otherwise they're just kind of there, I guess, and they can't really do much else, because this guy is a defender. He's not made to do damage, so decent. But if you don't really have the dupes, I don't really see a point in getting him, at least right now. Leo Bay Unicorn, also his terrain is the usual. Leo Bay Unicorn. I think the worst thing about these SD units is how restricted they are. Their teams are not the best. Also, you can't change their pilots, so they are very restricted. His range is pretty small, but it will hit pretty high. The remaining HP you have, the greater weapon power, so he wants to hit really hard without getting attacked. Put a supporter with him and he'll do pretty insane damage, especially fully duped. Look, even his skills too are like full damage base. He does have his hit restriction though, which I always hate. Below, it should always be or above. Below is just meh. Advantage rival when enemies are from a specified tag. Increase on attack and defense by 15%. That can be pretty good since there is a lot of rival units in this game. Whoever is the main bad guy, that's a rival, but he's alright. Like I said, his tags are his worst enemy. He does not have a lot, so one shot kill and specified unit are pretty much the only tags you can run him with. His pilot, Like I said, you must run the pilot with him. There's no way to get him out. Force guard for an attacker is kind of dumb. You want to use sway and then attack burst. This is just like a throwaway skill that's just there for whatever reason. There's no point in doing it. Unless he might survive. If he's like fully duped and gets hit pretty hard, maybe he'll survive if you do that, but I don't know. Yeah, increase own damage up by 20%, increase melee by 20%. That's also pretty good. Like I say, he is a damage dealer and he wants to do high damage. When piloting units specified tag, increase damage dealt to enemy by 15%. Reduce damage taken by 50% when HP is 25% or below. Restore HP by 25% once only. And then for some random reason, he has increased range by 5%. That's another throwaway skill in my opinion. So no extra chance step, and he is very restricted. But if for some reason you can run him on a team, he'll do pretty high damage. But his buff, the 25%, is what's holding him back in my opinion. He's either gonna get that buff miraculously if you use Force Guard, but then at that point you can't use Attack Burst or Sway. Well, you could use Sway but only once, so it really just depends. You have to choose. Do you want to keep him alive to get the buff, or do you just want to go all out with Sway and Attack Burst? So weird restriction. Like I said, I hate those HP or below debuffs, but he is an option. Not the greatest option, but he's an option. Master Gundam, pretty fan favorite. He can hit pretty hard. Vigor superchar high, increased critical rate by 25%, critical damage by 10%, and attack by 15%. Very solid. He has some pretty good options. His Sekyo Tenchoken 1 to 4 range is always nice. The 17% damage up if he can get it. Yeah, he does seem pretty solid. He is going to hit pretty hard, especially with his buffs. And with his pilot and his attack stats pretty high. His pilot is going to help him do that since he does have MP up already, so you can use his skill, his vigor charge. Boost critical by 40%, so you can also increase your critical rate by, I think it's like 60% now if you activate it. And then sway is always nice. No attack burst, which might hurt him, but I still think he's going to do pretty good damage. But he kind of just suffers from what all these other attackers suffer, and that's, you know, not an identity crisis, but he is based off crits. For some reason, if you're really unlucky, when piloting units specified tags, increase damage dealt to enemy by 15%, increase critical rate by 15%, so that's 75% if you activate everything, I believe, 20%, 60%, and 15%. But if for some reason, like I said, if you're unlucky, you also get increased movement by 1, which is always nice. So, but like I said, if you're unlucky, miss the 75% crit chance, and your damage is going to be lower than what it should be. He does seem pretty dupe dependent, just to get his max damage out with no dupes. Master Gundam, I don't see him doing like crazy numbers, good numbers, but if you miss that crit, like I said, you might be out of luck. But it seems kind of unlikely. 75%, still 75%, but you never know. So critical damage suit, critical rate suit, keep that in mind. Solid, but only 1 chance step, so keep that in mind, I guess. Gundam full armor, Thunderbolt, a defender. He has a map attack. He also has a 1 to 4 range EX, so solid. But this is a defender, so map attacks won't do the craziest damage. His EX attack, is that the hitbox? I don't think that's how it works. No, never mind. But increase defense by 50%, increase max HP by 5%, and then physical weapons reduce damage taken by 30%. That's solid, I guess. Not the craziest skills, but I guess he's solid. Defense is pretty high though, but he seems solid at max duped. And the pilot, low flame. I never liked this art. I don't know why. He looks like too pretty, too beautiful. But high speed, energy charge by 50% is nice, and then restore HP by 50%, so he has decent options. Support defense, increased defense by 20%, and he does have an extra chance step, so keep that in mind. He is Earth Federation Space Force though, so also keep that in mind. When piloting units specified tags, increase damage 50% and 15% damage taken. So he seems pretty solid. He seems pretty good. As long as he has double chance step, he's good. The 5% range is just a thing, I guess. You always want double chance step with your units, but you do want to run him with Earth Federation Space Force. His defense is also pretty damn high too, so he is a pretty good unit. But keep in mind his restriction, I guess. You really want Earth Federation Space Force units. But very good. Double chance step units are always nice. Suit is not the craziest. It's good. But keep in mind, I guess. Also, terrain is pretty mid. But he has a very good pilot. Definitely outshines the suit. Psycho Zaku. It has a 5 range, but its EX doesn't. So keep that in mind. I believe this pilot does have like a range boost. Mobility by 50% is good for PvP, not so much PvE, I guess. Increase attack by 10% and accuracy and evasion by 7%. So yeah, he definitely feels like a PvP unit. His attack is alright for a supporter. I think this is his well, not this, but he has MP up, high speed. Sway is always nice, of course. Support type. When piloting units specified tags, increase range by 30%. That's really good. Increase all mobility, movement, I mean, by 1. So he has 5 movement, I believe. Double chance, of course. Piloting units increase damage dealt to the enemy by 15%. No damage reduction, though, so keep that in mind. It might help him, might not, who knows, but only damage dealt, not reduced damage taken. When piloting Psycho Zaku, Vigor Supercharged or higher, max range physical or beam weapon is increased by 1 and then 5% range. So this guy, he's going to hit pretty hard. Not like attacker level hard, but he also has the movement, which I think a lot of supporters need, but his stats are pretty good as well, 721. He has the MP up to get the extra range immediately. It's just that in PvP the AI is kind of dumb and doesn't do it and just runs to their death. So he definitely seems like a PvP unit. Still good in PvE with the extra increased range. That's a 6 range weapon and a 5 range EX. So he could be good in PvE or PvP, but he's not going to do like insane numbers. His debuff is still good though. Special weapons, that's solid. But yeah, he seems like a solid unit. Cough. But he seems like a solid unit. Nothing crazy. He's very good. I think with more dupes he can be pretty solid, but with no dupes he's just alright. Force Impulse, pretty good debuff. I remember using this guy a lot. He has 2 options, which is always nice. Special weapons 25% and base damage, defense, just defense, nothing, no gimmick, 35%, which is always nice. Those debuffers on base defenses are always usable in some way. Mobility by 50% is meh. Restoring HP energy by 5% at the start of every turn. Not the craziest thing in the whole world, but you know, it's an option. And physical weapons reduce damage by 40%. So this guy, he has option. He seems like a very good defender. He won't do the craziest damage though, but I don't think that's his main thing. He wants to debuff, and depending on your situation, you can do either special or just base defense, which is always good. So let's check his pilot. I hate that they don't let you check it if you already have it. Where he at? Where is Shin? There he is. His stats are pretty. His abilities, I mean, attack burst, always good. Boost range, very good. Sway, very good, of course. Very solid kit. Double chance that coordinator, awaken reaction by 20%. Actually helps him with like funnel units if you want to use like awaken units, I mean. And then support attack 1. And then when piloting Force Impulse, if HP falls below 50%, restore his own HP at 50% once only. I think this is what kind of hurts him because it's more of a defender ability for defender units. He's a support, so he can die, I guess. Maybe if he doesn't get one shot, he can activate that ability, but like he has no attack buffs other than the 5% and the awakening reaction. by 20% his attack burst. So keep in mind, he's not going to do the craziest damage. Maybe on a awakened suit he'll do better, but he's a supporter. He's not meant to do damage, but I think there might be like better options maybe. But his sway and attack burst boost range, his character skills are amazing. His abilities not so much, so it's a 50-50 I guess. So very solid option, at least for his debuffer suit, but other than that, very solid option. Like, he's not a bad choice if you really want. His tags are also pretty solid too. Ace unit, lightning fast. So that is an option to pick if you need a debuffer, I suppose. Base debuffer for defense. Gundam Death Scythe Endless Wealth is about to come soon, but the suit, ever since its release, has not been really that great at all. It's definitely a gimmick suit. I think in one of my old tier lists I ranked this guy almost in the bottom. His range is pretty bad. He wants a counter. He's a counter defender. His power is actually really high. This is one of those identity crisis. He doesn't know what he wants to be. He wants to be an attacker and a defender, but like, look at these skills. This is definitely a dupe dependent unit. I saw full dupes of him in PvP actually putting in the work, but just remember those are boosted stats, so maybe without boosted stats I don't think he's going to be that great at all. This is definitely more of a, do you like Endless Waltz? Endless Waltz is about to come soon, but the missions, I mean, I do not think he's going to be that great in there at all. There's probably going to be better options and all that, but he's an option, I guess, if you have more dupes. Defense is pretty high, attack is higher than usual for a defender unit, like I said. Very weird. Terrain is also solid, but this guy definitely has an identity crisis. Like I said, look at his skills. This is not the skills of a defender, defense unit, pilot. This is a guy that wants to be both. He wants to grab his cake and eat both of them. Attack burst level 4, boosts critical HP repair by 50%. Only one chance, step 2 for support defense. Only one support defense, so keep that in mind. And he increases his own attack by 20%, not defense. So, identity crisis potential man here. Piloting unit, specified series. He also gets 50% reduced damage taken, but like I said, he doesn't have a lot of defense options. He doesn't even have force guard. Like, come on. But yeah, if you like Endless Waltz, I guess you could pick him. But 0 dupes, I just don't see a reason, like, at all. If you have more dupes, sure, maybe, but, and if you really like its abilities, but even then, its range is just pretty mid, so it's very much a gimmick unit, like super gimmicky. Build Strike, good defender. He's based off physical weapon, has pretty solid range, 1 to 5. Physical. His tags are specialized unit and unstoppable, and the only good one, so keep that in mind. Terrain, pretty solid. Abilities, alright. Max energy by 50%, physical weapons, and then mobility by 5% is a throwaway one, but it's an option, I guess. Not the craziest skills. Boost range is good, high speed is good, lock on is meh. I never really had much of a use for that other than like SR pilot, so double support chance. Restoring HP by 10% at the start of every turn when piloting units with specified tags. Gunpla, there's literally like 3 or 4 Gunpla units, so yeah, he's basically restricted to his own unit until we get more support for it. Store squad energy by 7% at the start of every turn when piloting units with specified tags. Gunpla, like I said, I don't even think there's enough to make a full team. His abilities are pretty bad. They're pretty awful, honestly, other than his double support chance. But his character skills are alright. His abilities hold him back so hard. He's a terrible pilot until we get like more Gunpla support. But even then, he's probably going to be power creeped by then. or these abilities don't even seem that crazy either. So if you like the build strike, I guess you could pick it. It's not the greatest debuffer though, and the pilot is god awful, so really just depends if you're you know, star build strike, whatever build strike fan, but I would definitely not recommend it. Charizard to the origin, this guy can hit pretty damn hard. Just keep in mind his range though, but he can hit pretty hard, and he's in a lot of PvP tags, I mean PvP seasons. He's been in a couple of them. When HP is full, increase attack by 30%. I love this. I love when they do above instead of below, because you basically just have the debuff immediately. So increase attack by 50%, mobility by 5%. That can sort of help in PvP, so that's very good. And attack is really high. That's really good stats. I have to pause, but where was I? It's been a little bit. But yeah, Char as a pilot has very good character skills. His abilities are also pretty good. If anything, he might be better on the Zeong than the actual Zeong pilot, which is Char, but you know, his stats aren't the greatest, so they're pretty balanced, but his suit is definitely going to hit pretty hard, especially with more dupes. So video has been pretty long, so I will try to speed blitz the rest. I mean, the O, decent abilities, but its range is pretty mid. Good 2 debuffs is always nice, but like I said, and it does some pretty decent damage as well, but like I said, the range game is pretty mid. Mobility is mid, pretty throwaway ability unless it's for PvP, and even then it's only 5%. So vigor is max or higher, increase on attack and defense by 10%, not the craziest, but the pilot will help make up for that. Decent stats, so an alright unit, not the craziest though. Gotcha to check its tags. I checked this guy's tags. Terrain is alright, and it's on. I could have swore this guy was on Arrival, but I guess not. Specialized unit and unstoppable or alright, but it's an alright unit. It'll hit hard, especially with dupes. And for the O, this pilot is Shirako, Watermelon Man. MP is nice, boost range is nice, energy by 50% is always good. Good stats, especially his awakening. He'll do good with any funnel type units and all that, anything that requires awakening. So new type, awaken reaction by 20%, very good. Piloting Titans, the usual 15%, and then awaken by 5%. So he will do pretty good with funnel units that have a 5 range, unlike his suit. So it's definitely one of those. The pilot outgrows the suit kind of thing. But very good pilot. Suit is alright though, nothing crazy. Next up is the, like I said, we will try to speed blitz this now that video's probably gone on for a while. Justice Gundam was the first banner defender, I think. Range 4, range 3, decent attack. 35% attack down the enemy is alright, but pretty mid range. The usual, I guess, for a defender. Attack is very low, but that's fine. Defense is very good. 15%, restore energy by 5% is pretty meh. And then reduce damage taken by physical weapons by 30%. Not crazy, not bad either. High speed, very nice. Boost range, I don't really think he needs it since he's a defender, but it's there, I guess. And HP repair, 50%. He only has one support defense, which is not what you want to see, but you know, awaken reaction by 20% is meh for this unit. He's not really going to do damage. Defense by 20% is alright, very good. I mean, and then the usual 15%, but this tag is very limited, so it's basically only going to be ran on the Justice. So that is Afrin. Only one support defense. Take that as you will. He has very good stats, so he can work well. It's just that in PvP you always want 2, and he is very restricted. So Very good pilot and very good unit, especially with dupes as usual. But he's not gonna like do crazy damage or anything. He's going to be a good defender, but just remember he can only defend once. So that is Justice. Gundam, been here since the dawn of time. These are the original UR units. Pretty kind of just the Justice, honestly. 35%, range 1 to 4, 1 to 4. He has a hyper bazooka though. Mobility down is pretty mid though. His ability is not the greatest. You can definitely see his age right here. Evasion, mobility 5%. The HP part is good, but the other two scales are pretty throwaway. Defense is alright too. Attack is mid, but he's a defender, so you know. Yeah, like look at the Justice, his defense over the Gundam. Also his terrain is pretty good, along with his tags, one-shot killer, ace unit, and rival. So pretty solid defender if you put like a different pilot on him, but he can still do pretty well. Gundam, like I said, definitely showing its age. Defense is on the lower-ish side for a UR, but that's fine. Terrain is mid. Tough as nails is good, and ace unit is good, but that's pretty much all the teams he has. His pilot is also showing his age, Amuro. He has force guard, which is nice. High speed is good. Sway is good. His abilities are still good character skills, but his abilities are definitely dragging him down. Awaken reaction by 20%. Own defense by 20% when executing support defense. The usual 15% and increased defense by 5%. Decent. His defense is pretty solid. Reaction and awaken are really high, even though, his reaction, even though like, He's solid though, but like I said, one support chant is not really what you want. You always want two, especially for PvP and PvE as well. So definitely showing their age. I don't really recommend getting them unless you're a fan or need the dupes, whatever, but there are better options now. Gundam EZ8 still hits really hard. High attack stat. Good abilities. I like when HP is above, not below. And reduce damage by physical weapons by 30% is a plus. And this thing's problem has always been its range game. 1 to 3 EX attack is not the greatest, but it will hit really hard with all of its abilities and stacks and all that. Terrain is also pretty mid too. There's only one where it's good at, so keep that in mind. Tough as nails is good. Commander type is a free team, so, but not the craziest tags, unfortunately. His pilot, Shiro, is still pretty good. I use him sometimes to this day. He has a good character ability, attack burst, boost range, high speed, helps him with his EX attack. But one chance step only, keep that in mind. MP up is good. Earth Federation Space Force is good, and there's a lot of units with that tag, so he is still usable to this day. And increased range by 5%. So he's definitely good. EZ8 is still definitely good. The only thing they suffer from is an extra chance step or range game. Like I said, you pretty much need to almost boost range with him. In PvP, if he can land his hits, he's really good. In PvE, he's still very good, especially since you're controlling it and you can just pop the boost range and help him get his EX out faster. So still very good. Still hits very hard. Kind of dupe dependent, just for the damage. You really want damage. This guy's all about his damage, so keep that in mind. I think with dupes he really shines, but without dupes he's just kind of meh. He's there, I guess. Next up is the Striker. Pretty much the same story. Range game is pretty bad. You need to get up close. PvP, that can be a problem. PvE might not be. Vigor is max or high, increase attack by 15%, physical reduction. It's pretty much almost the same stats, honestly. His attack stats are really high, 133, while EZ8 is like 150. That's really high. He's still good though, but like I said, range game is the main problem with these suits. Terrain is alright. One shot killer is good, ace unit is good, but that's pretty much it. Not a lot of tags. I think he's about to be added to a new tag, Shimbuku or something. I'm not sure though. Here's his pilot. Like I said, these beginning units, their character skills are really good. It's just that they might have restrictions and all that. Melee is really good, but that's pretty much about it. Other than that, his stats are pretty mid. Increased damage by 15%, MP up by 6, Earth Federation tag again, which there is a lot of, and then melee by 5%. So even if you don't have the striker like fully duped or something, you can run a freebie unit that focuses on melee, and he'll do pretty good on it. Just remember, one chance step again. Most of these early units were all about damage and only one chance step, but he can still do pretty good. His melee stat is pretty high. Just keep in mind his chance step and all that. But yeah, mostly all these beginner units are going to follow, like, you can see the formula there. They do high damage, their character skills are really good. They have sway, attack burst, these early attackers. Like, we'll skip to the unicorn. Unicorn is basically the GM striker, except with a free 4 weapon. High attack, well, decent attack for an attacker at max dupe. Except this one is beam range, beam reduction, unlike physical. Accuracy and evasion are alright, nothing crazy. And 15%. This guy also wants to do heavy hitting damage, but range is a problem. Lightning fast, Psycho Moo. It's kind of it, honestly. Lightning fast and Psycho Moo are its only teams. And Menager, it's pretty much the same pilot as this guy. They're almost the same pilot. Like I said, you can definitely see a little bit of a copy paste with these early URs. Where is he at? There he is. It's pretty much the exact same. High speed, attack burst, sway. Like I said, these early pilots, their kits are very good. Their character skills. It's just that you can definitely see their age of their suit and all that. 700 melee is alright. Damage up 15%. Accuracy and evasion by 5%. Piloting NTD is pretty mid. And then the usual Earth Federation Space Force tag. Like I said, you can still run these pilots. They're good. There's a lot of Earth Federation options. Let me check real quick. Earth Federation. Where is it? I'll just type it out. EF. There you go. I have mostly all of them, but yeah, there is a lot of options that you can run. Our Federation Space Force is not a small tag. These units, these pilots, no matter how old they are, they're about to be 1 year old. You have a ton of options, so that's what keeps them relevant, the pilots. Even if their unit, you know, might not be the craziest, there might be better options. There is still a lot of options you can do with Earth Federation. It's only going to keep growing, so keep that in mind. Like, any pilot with Earth Federation Space Force tag that gets the buff from it is still usable to this day, even if they don't have like an extra chance step and all that. Yeah, that's the striker and the unicorn. The Xian is a base defense debuffer. I always appreciate that. Range 1 to 5. It's just that this guy does, well, this girl does no damage at all. Pretty mid damage dealing. I have her at 2 dupes and she still barely does any damage, but that's not her main trait. It's debuffing the enemy with this. She only has 1 debuff, which is fine. You know, usually you want 2. It could be helpful, but 1 is fine. Base debuff is always good. Energy, this is definitely the age of when they thought energy would be a problem. Kind of fixed now, but before, in the early days, it wasn't. So Vigor's max are higher, 10%. Psycho Moo and Unstoppable are its good as best tags, so its terrain is also pretty mid. Pilot, I think this is definitely one of those cases where the pilot outgrows the suit. Asuna, MP up is good, lock on is meh, restore energy is fine. Awaken and reaction by 20% is always good for, you know, awaken units. So AUG is pretty much like one of the most throwaway tags. I think there's only like 2 good units, and range 5% is alright. I guess you could pilot her with the UR Zeta, the attacker one, but like there's better options. So definitely good with funnel units like the Red Zeta. I believe Red Zeta is AUG. Let me check real quick. Where's AU? There it is. I think I have most of them. Red Zeta is pretty good for her, but like I said, it's definitely like which dupes do you have or not. Do you have a fully dupe with Xi'an? Then you don't really need Red Gundam, but if you do not, then I think Red Gundam is a better option just because it has 2 debuffs and is an awakened unit special. So she'll get the buffs, she'll be good for this unit. This is also a very good option for her if your Xi'an isn't duped and all that. So if you just wanted the pilot and already have like a Red Zeta fully upgraded to its full alt version, then I guess that's a choice. But like she has options, but like there's not a lot of them. It's definitely a case of which one is more useful, Red Zeta Gundam or the Xi'an to you. Depends on how many buffs you have. I mean how many dupes you have for this thing. So I guess you can also run with Zeta Gundam too and all that. And she has options, not a lot, but she has options. Definitely still a very good pilot to this day. Next up is the New Gundam. Very good, still very good for awakened unit special weapons. 35%, still very good. Its range is very good. Double debuffer too, base defense. Still very solid. Its abilities are alright. Max energy by 15%, reduced damage from B weapons by 50%, and accuracy and evasion by 5% is alright. Skill stats are pretty, they're alright. They're pretty mid for a supporter. I mean, they're still good, don't get me wrong, but like no buffs or anything in ability department. Psychomu, Earth Federation is always good. Lightning Fast. So Psychomu and Lightning Fast pretty much the only good teams, but like I said, this thing is a really good debuffer even to this day. Also mid-terrain, but I think that's alright. But yeah, very good debuffer. His pilot is also very good as well for awakening units. Amuro A41 awakening is very nice. He also has boost range too, so if you are using any New Gundam like the attacker or supporter, you have 6 range if you use boost range and attack burst level 4 and save energy, I suppose. Like I said, he is a awakened character. Look at that, 20% awaken and then awaken again by 5%. And every pilot that has Earth Federation is always good because there's a lot of Earth Federation. So yeah, very solid. If you wanted to pick him, I would not blame you. Even at no buffs, the New Gundam will be fine as long as it can debuff the enemy. So even if you don't have full, I think there's one of those units that don't really need to rely on dupes. You want the debuff for him. I mean, his abilities, base defense and special defense. Those are 2 options you can pretty much switch at will if you need it. So very solid, still very good to this day. If you wanted to pick him, I would not blame you. Very good pilot and very good unit. Next up is the Salzabi, and oh man, baby's first UR. I love this guy to this day. He would probably be my second pick if you haven't decided what to pick. Same story as the New Gundam, double 5 funnels to save energy, and then the long rifle if energy doesn't matter. But this is a very good ability, especially with the pilot. The further you are from the enemy, more damage you'll do. I really love this UR. This has been one of the most reliable URs to this day that I still use. Increase attack by 15%. I never liked this requirement, but I think it's whatever. And accuracy and evasion by 5%. Not the best abilities, but I think its pilot and suit more than make up for it. Like I said, if you do not have Char's counterattack, you need to get at least 1 copy, because this guy is amazing. Look at that awakening stat, 912, and double chance step, and boost range, and attack burst, and save energy, I guess, if you're spamming EXs. He is still insanely good to this day. Neo Zeon, you don't really need it because it's only reduced damage, but it's there, I guess. Not crazy, you don't need it, you won't even notice it. Well, you might notice it if you're using Salzabi in PvP. He might survive an attack, maybe, but he's not restricted at all. He can run with any funnel type unit and he's going to do very good damage. He won't hit as hard, of course, as other attackers these days now, but he is so reliable. Salzabi and him are so reliable. Even with no dupes at all, he's still very reliable as a pilot. You can run him with Penelope or New Gundam, the SSRs. He is so reliable. Like I said, I cannot glaze this man enough. He is so good, even to this day, 1 year later. Probably the best aging unit, in my opinion. But that might be a little biased, so. But I still think he's insanely good. Second pick. I'll go my top 5 at the end of this. Narrator Gundam, the suit's trash. I'll just say this right now. The suit is trash. Its terrain is pretty awful and its abilities are pretty meh, and its range. Like I said, defense is high, but don't let that fool you. It's pretty terrible, and it's a mobile armor too, with pretty mid tags. Like tough as nails, pretty much its only usable tag. So pretty awful suit. I won't go much into detail and it's pretty bad. Its pilot is what's carrying its legacy hard. Jonah is baby's first UR defender. He's insanely good to this day. HP 50%, reduced damage taken by 20%. He has everything he needs. Ooh, my wrist is kind of getting tired from using the mouse. This probably means the video's been going off for a while, but try to speed it up. NTD is meh. It's a throwaway, but you don't really need it. And then EF Space Force, always good. He's pretty much just low before low was a thing. Still insanely good. He has so many options. He's very good. Defense is pretty high too. So if you really needed a defender, you can choose either him or low. They kind of fulfill the same role. But he is baby's first UR. It's just that low's suit is way better. But if you haven't already gotten him for whatever reason, you can either choose low or him. I think low might be the better option these days now if you don't have him. It's kind of just him, but a little bit better without the NTD requirement. So yeah, he's basically just the same unit almost. But for some of you don't have Jonah or low, I would recommend low just because his suit's a little bit better. But Jonah has definitely carried me through some hard times. If I had low, I probably would have replaced him, but Jonah is probably the second best option if you already have low. So low, but if you already have low, then I guess you could get a copy of Jonah. If you really need a second defender, he will do the job amazingly. His suit sucks ass though, so I can't really bench him too high. Crossbone, it is a critical unit with awful range. Abilities are pretty mid. It's completely based off critical attacks. Terrain is solid though. His pilot is an all-rounder. He doesn't really excel at anything, so you can definitely see his age. He doesn't excel at anything unless he gets a crit. So he is very crit based, 40%. Attack burst and sway are very good, but like I said, his stats are pretty all-rounded. They don't excel at anything, but they're still insanely good. Reaction, awaken 20%, increased damage by 15. Crossbow Vanguard is almost non-existent, so he's basically stuck with his unit until we get to port. But yeah, not the craziest. He is very crib reliant. This was back in the day where 40% crib was a lot, so you really do need to rely on that. And if you don't get his crit, or if you're not close to the enemy, well, tough luck. It's basically meh. He's not going to do insane damage at all. So I would not recommend him unless you, not even unless, but if you like Crossbone, I guess. But I would not recommend him at all. He's definitely shown his age compared to other attackers. Freedom Gundam, good map attack. Reduce his beam defense, which is solid, by 35%. Range is 1 to 4 though, so keep that in mind. Back in the old days when energy was a problem, they would give this to everything. So decent stats too, good terrain and good tags. One shot killer is always nice, and ace unit, both pretty good tags. His pilot is Kira Yamato, the supporter version. There he is. He has high speed and sway, which are always nice. They're a very good combo together. Awaken reaction by 20%. Triple ship align is very limited, but there are options, I guess. So take that as you will. 5% range is there, I guess. His stats are pretty solid. His range game is pretty good, but he is very well-rounded, very solid option. Freedom without dupes I think won't be hitting as hard at all, but Kira with his sway and high speed are definitely going to help the Freedom Gundam. If you don't have any dupes, he can still be a very good defender. I mean, supporter but just keep in mind he only has one option to debuff. Map attack is still solid though. It won't do as much damage as the SR version, but he is an option. Not the craziest option, but he is still very good for his age. I just think there arguably might be better options. Next up is the Exia, and I might recommend the Exia just because 00 is again the next event story. His range game is not the greatest. He is restricted on his Trans Am. He doesn't need to be MP, I believe. Does he? I believe he does, but anyway, his range game not the greatest. He is a range 1 to 3. He does want to get up close. For PvP, he's gonna have a hard time, especially when everybody has a range. So take that as you will. GN Field is kind of a throwaway ability now. When the enemy attacks with physical or beam weapon, reduce damage taken by 20%. I don't remember it having that. I think that might be new. I'm not sure. I remember it having this, so this is kind of a throwaway ability. I could have swore it was lower. I think they maybe might have buffed it. I'm not sure. I think I'm just crazy, but attack 50% is alright. But like I said, these abilities were good in the beginning of the game, but now very mid. Restore energy for 5% is also very mid. Attack stat is alright. Terrain is good though, very good. The GN units usually have good terrain. Unfortunately though, his tags are pretty meh. Stoppable and ace unit, that's pretty much it. Not a lot of tags, but with the upcoming 00 story missions and Eternal Road, maybe this guy might be good, especially with more dupes. But take that as you will if you want more dupes for him, or if you just want a copy for the pilot. And I think his pilot is one of the better aging ones, that's for damn sure. Setuna 800 melee is always nice. Double chance step, MP up, attack burst, and high speed. He's going to do really good damage since he already has his MP up and attack burst, and he already has MP 6 just from the get-go, so that's very good. He also has one extra chance there, which is very nice. And Celestial Being, not the craziest. It's not increased damage, reduced damage, so it doesn't restrict him too badly. You can run him with plenty of other suits because it doesn't really matter. Like I said, it's not a lot of Celestial Being suits until the anniversary on April 1st. So this guy is definitely going to shine a lot more now when there's more Celestial Being suits. You could definitely pick up a copy for him for Eternal Road and all that. I think it's going to be very useful. And his Exia, if you have maybe like one dupe. I think without dupes he's like kind of alright, but with some dupes he's going to do really high damage. He's more of a PvE unit in my opinion. For PvP he struggles pretty hard. But if you want some good options for the 00 story event about to come out, I think he's a pretty solid pick. His pilot is still one of the better aging ones to this day. So alright, next up, we're almost done, trust me, we're almost done. Next up is Barbie. We have 3 more. Barbie is definitely one of those weirder exceptions. This was a defender that wanted to be an attacker. Not as much of an identity crisis as the Death Scythe, but still. Range game is pretty terrible. Attack debuff is nice though. Abilities, 15% HP is good, energy is meh, and beam weapons by 30% damage reduction is alright. Defense is alright too, but you can definitely see the age of this guy. His HP is on the higher side, but that's basically about it. His pilot is still good to this day, but he's definitely one of the more weirder ones for double chance defenders, since he wants to do damage. Defense is on to 658, is pretty meh. Like, it's alright, but you usually want to be in the 700s or 800s. Attack burst, like I said, the weirder times a year ago when they wanted to do a little bit of both. HP by 50% is good, and Force Guard is always nice. Durability type, and then his affinity, Isla Viñana. Critical rate by 20%, that's not the greatest for a defender, so kind of a throwaway ability. Sport defense chance 1 is always good, of course, but he is a lot more restricted. Tegadon, 15%, usual. It's alright, he has options, not a lot of options, but he has options. But yeah, the Isla Viñana kind of holds him back. Not the craziest defender, there are better options again, but if you need it for like Eternal Road and all that, or PvP, there are better options again, like I said, but he is an option, I suppose, just probably the bottom of the barrel option. Like I said, he's not bad, but I think Jonah or Low could be like way better options for you if you need them. The only thing good about him, in my opinion, is that he can double chance step. So that's Barbie. Next up is the Aerial. Aerial is a base defense debuffer, very good range. Also has a second option, which is beam weapons. It's always nice to have 2 options. It's just that it's range of 2 to 4, so that's very good. Again, the age of energy, where they thought energy would be a problem, and then beam weapons by 30%, so pretty solid, very good range. 2 debuff options, very nice. Specialized unit and one-shot killer are very good. Guess I forgot to check the tags of Barbie. It's pretty much only ace unit and lightning fast, so you have options, I suppose. Got to check Exias, sorry. Well, no, I did, never mind. Like I said, this video's been going on for a while. But Aerial's very good. Good double debuff, good range. Attack isn't the craziest, especially with no dupes, but it's a debuffer, so it's going to help you. And it has some pretty solid tags. This is my Aerial. Like, also the terrain is pretty solid. The 4 terrain is always nice. And her pilot, Soleta, is also very good as a supporter. I still sometimes use her to this day. Boost range is nice. Attack burst is nice. Energy is alright. Oops. Her stats are pretty solid too. Higher on the range side. Awakening is pretty solid too. Increased range by 20% is very good. Witch from Mercury has more options since it got a story event a while back. Not a lot of options, but still very good options, so you do get these 2. You kind of just want to run around her UR, but for any other reason, if you don't want to, she can be ran on like Caliburn or something, the SSR, so she has very good options, still very good to this day. Very good supporter, very good character skills. There's nothing really holding her back other than her tag, but then again there is options, so very good debuffer to this day. Next up, I think, is the last one. One of the more midder ones is the Phoenix Gundam Power Unleashed. Good range, don't get me wrong. Physical isn't the craziest though. Feather Funnel beam weapon is basically just aerial, but slightly different. Abilities are pretty mid though. Accuracy and evasion by 5%, restore energy 10% at the start of every turn, and max energy by 15%. Pretty mid. Terrain is very solid though. Stats are alright. One of the more unique ones, I think, is like when these SDG generation units have double, alternative, and UC series, so you can run them on either. Unstoppable is good. Ace unit is good. Aerial use, I guess, if you need it, but I don't know, it's not the craziest, that's for sure, and its pilot is pretty mid too. Like, it can still be used, don't get me wrong. Double debuffers are always nice, but I think there's just way better options. High speed is good, lock on is meh, energy charge is alright, and its abilities, awaken by 20% is always good for funnel units, awaken units I mean. Nanoskin and G generation, restore 8 squad HP by 5%, that's a pretty throwaway awful ability. You don't really want to run that at all, it's not worth it. So, and awaken by 5%, so he'll be good with funnel unit, awaken units I mean. But other than that, I think his suit is pretty mid. It's not going to take a lot of damage. It has good debuff options, but other than that, it's pretty mid, especially if you have no dupes. So pretty mid, good. I say good unit, but not like crazy amazing and all that, especially his stats with no dupes and all that. And his pilot just has a throwaway ability. So I think that's all of them. Woo, 32 UR units. I might as well do mine. I'm probably going to pick the Shenanju. If you want my top 5, the moment probably most people skip to. Shenanju. Let's see. Low. Maybe Charizard 2 if you have dupes for it, if you want to dupe for it. New Gundam, Salzabi. Narrative if you already have low and need another defender. Exia for the 00 story event about to come. And maybe Gundam Ariel just because she's still a really good debuffer. But those are my options if you were wondering on the fence about which one you really wanted to get. Like I said, there's no right answer. It's whatever you want, your favorite unit and all that. But those are just my picks on what I think is going to be more helpful to you or in the future with the new story events coming out and all that, or right now with PvP going on. Like Soletta, she can be really annoying in PvP, but right now she's not needed. So keep that in mind, like if you really want her or somebody else, or Blue Destiny, like I said, there's no wrong answer. But those are just my opinions. Like I said, the smartest thing to do is to wait for the tickets once you get them. But other than that, we will do our multi once it feels like loading.